Hello, welcome everyone. In the continuation of our knowledge series, there is a lot of discussion on manpower, salary cuts, layoff, the probable landscape post-COVID. So today we brought an expert, Mr. G.R. Reddy. Mr. G.R. Reddy is the founder and promoter of a HR consulting company called Hasis. GR has been doing a lot of research. Earlier, he created a whole set of research and presented to the government for the manpower related to the small and medium enterprises. He has been researching on this particular uh, pandemic. So let me welcome GR here. GR, welcome.
Hello, Deepak. Thank you for taking me to share my experiences.
And we have Rachna also part of the knowledge series this time. Welcome, Rachna.
Thank you, Deepak, for having me here, and welcome, GR.
Thank you.
So, GR, let me just start asking you. I have a lot of questions regarding this manpower, HR, and all that. So, what is your primary take on this pandemic environment? And what is the split? Like, people talk a lot about people spreading on various industries and all. What is the split you think that how manpower has been split in India?
I think there is definitely the impacted industries and also non-impacted industries. So when we actually looked at some of the key areas, if I can actually share the screen with you,
Please go ahead.
just to take. So I'll actually take you to. So this is the spread across that we have actually reached out. There are 500 CEOs that we approached to find out what is going to be the impact of people on due to the COVID and the lockdown situation. This is just very focused only on this. So we have 29% and 16%, which is services. 29% is IT, ITES industries, and rest of them all fall into the brick and mortar, which is the typical manufacturing and processing and retail, and which needs an infrastructure to be there. Hospitality, hospital industries, and if you see, there quite a bit of numbers are covered. Quite on the 9%, which is others, also is quite in the manufacturing kind of a segment. While they are responding, they actually responded like that. So one of the things that I would like to really say, this spread, when I'm talking about sharing these experiences, this is the spread that we have right now, which is we have 1 to 50 size of companies. There are 40% of the companies out of whatever I have shown. 40% are 1 to 50, and 51 to 100 are 16%. And if you see more than 500 and more than 1,000 are very less numbers, but they are still significant. If you see, 21% is actually covered, which is actually a significant portion to understand what is happening. So there is quite a widespread in that happened. And what we looked at is, we looked at basically in terms of how is it going to impact on the people practices. One, on the immediate after lockdown, what is the situation in March, because we started the research in March and ended in April 29th. So that means how it's going to impact, and how do they see April, and how do they see May, and that's how the spread that we have focused on.
So, Jia, that is basically the percentage now. What is the one question which comes in every person who has been working, and rather even from the employer side as well as from the employee side. So, what are the salary cuts expected? What is going to be the layoff, or there be no layoff? Can you give some light on this?
Yeah, so I think we have do really looked at what kind of an impact that's going to happen on salaries, etc. And again, I will actually go back to one of the slide, which is very important in this aspect. If you just allow me, we have. So basically, there is going to be a huge impact on the salaries, etc. And if you see from May onwards, what are they going to do? If you see this slide, there are going to be major portion of the salary which is paid, more than, you know, up to 100%, is only 34% of the organization. That means out of what we have researched 500 companies, only 34% companies were able to actually fulfill the commitment in case if there is no impact, there is no subsidy or something from the government. But if you see no can't pay and no pay is about 25%, which is actually, I think, is a very significant amount of you know, challenge that we see. And up to anything less than 50%, if you see 32%, so that means almost your 55% is actually really under tremendous pressure. You know, that's what we see, and which may lead into certain outcomes, which I would like to really, you know, talk about it, is how are they going to do. I think this is going to be very important, you know, for somebody to really look at. If you see, reduced salaries are 24%, companies are really looking at reducing salaries, and 12% are actually looking at reduce employees. That means a termination or a layoff. Okay, so this is very important aspect. And both, if you see, what are they going to do on both is actually 23%. They're going to look at not only reducing the salaries of employees, but also laying off is also one of the options, with 23% of the companies have said. And except the 30%, which is like 29% plus, who are going to say, we're going to look at and watch what is going to happen. I think that's the kind of an impact that we see happening, you know, at this point of time, in terms of the thinking behind, you know, every MSME business owner that who are thinking right now related to people.
So, GR, you said that you have researched till 29th of April all this, you know, your statistical data and the sampling of various CEOs. So, what you foresee in terms of, you know, tenure? How long you think that they are going to carry like this? Is there any data or research on that?
So generally, we are talking to people, because now that with this data we are going and talking to people. So people do have a challenge that at least around 30% of the companies have to really reduce the number of people, for sure, because there are no orders, or maybe the new orders, even if they come, it will be actually going to take time, because there is no sales funnel that has been done during you know, these 3 months of pandemic, which is going to be impacting the number of people that they're going to hire. And also the ability to continue to pay, because, you know, there's either there is a, you know, money not available in the bank, and also receipts have not come into the bank. I think that is also going to impact in terms of the full scale salaries to be paid. And what we see, at least whom we are discussing, around 30% of the companies are going to really be focusing on whether should we continue this at all or not. So that's actually a, you know, little scary situation, because in that situations, employees are left with no choice. Employers have no choice than to, you know, stop operations, or maybe stop people, you know, coming from work, or maybe temporarily suspend, you know, for some time. And it is going to lead to a lot of legal issues, which I'm actually clearly seeing there is going to be a challenge if they don't handle it properly.
GR, one more question I have. You know, this work from home culture, which has really seeped in recently, okay? So do you think any landscape changing in that aspect also? Or do you have research?
Yeah. So in fact, in the same survey, we have actually asked if how many of these 500 companies can actually afford to work from home. So if you look at the sample, there are 54% of the companies said they can afford to do it, and 46% they said no, nothing. So I think out of these 54%, if you see how much that they were able to implement, is this is the kind of a statistic that they generated, where only 59% out of you know, 54% who said yes, out of that only 59% of them are 100% they are able to do, and rest of them are below actually 70% of the work from home that's happening, Deepak.
This work from home survey and the results of this survey, is it skewed towards, you know, industry to industry, business to business, something like that?
Yeah. So as if you see a sample of the companies, the IT, ITS and services, and also some part who can actually do it, you know, some from home, only it is related to that. So not all the companies who could afford are able to do it completely means that, there is services and services related are actually able to perform, but rest of them are really not, doing any kind of work from home. So we did reach out to quite a bit of that. How do you really keep people engaged during when you can't do work from home? I had a huge long series that I did on how do you engage people when they don't have work from home, possibility.
Rachana, do you have any question?
Yes. GR, while we were going through your slide, which spoke about, people who said that 12% of the companies said they cannot pay salaries, and some 24% said that they will lay off employees. So when it comes to this kind of thing, I wanted to just understand what kind of breakup do you have for companies of a larger employee strength not able to pay salaries and will be laying off vis-a-vis the companies of a smaller size and having lesser. Do you have that kind of breakup also? So that
okay, Rachana, I understand. Not really, because we did want to do it as a pulse survey, which is primarily how they're going to react to the situations and how they're going to manage it. So while the smaller the company, I have really seen a great sentiment that people don't want to lay off. Can you believe it? The larger size of 100 plus and 500 plus actually seen a lot more rush, and there is an impact that they wanted to really lay off and all. If you see less than 100 people companies, everybody actually said the same one thing to me. When I actually reached out to them is we really don't want to lay them off, but maybe I may defer my salaries. I may defer my salaries later point. But I think looks like the larger companies are actually going to lay off, which is going to impact the larger number of people being laid off as a percentage, versus the companies who actually at a small and mid-sized level who have a very, I think unfortunately they don't have, they don't look at like a business like business. They look like as a family, because they are very closely knitted. They can't really afford to do it. So I have had cases where the employees came together to the owner and said, okay, you don't need to pay for these 2-3 months. We will manage somehow, because we know that you don't have money, but we would like to resume, after, let's say, May, if things goes fine. So that's also a great opportunity from a smaller company perspective.
Yeah, and continuing my earlier question now, with respect to you, since you are also offering consultancy services to a lot of companies, and most of them are the SME companies, to which you are offering HR specialization. I wanted to understand what is their preparedness in case of a legal issue, and what is your guidance to them when it comes to handling this kind of a situation vis-a-vis the legal implications that they will have on their business.
Sure. I think, we're going to innovate every time there is a challenge, right? So now we have a special COVID related, services. Now, we actually defined all the segments into COVID related, services. And, but yeah, we are not commercially really pushing that as of now, because I think they're under stress that we need to do a lot more support. So what is going to happen is basically one thing that they're trying to look at is some of the companies, when the tide is good and they were actually growing pretty well, they would have actually increased salaries like hell. Nobody's business, because they didn't even really look at that the business is going to be like this, and then hence there is a lot of upside salary benchmark and everything was done. So currently what's happening is that they're now actually asking us, saying that, hey, can you do something? Can you do a salary survey to look at that currently actually where do we stand? All these while they never bothered to look at where their compensation and benefits stand vis-a-vis rest of the industries, and especially some of them would have done overdone, because in the small mid-sized enterprises the business owner takes the call. He's like, typically what we have seen is if he is a salesperson who started a company, he kind of increases salaries like hell, and their incentives are at a very different level. But whereas a non-sales, business owners are little conservative, especially from the operation side, somebody was coming. So now we actually have this challenge of actually identifying where do you stand in terms of the salary benchmark outside vis-a-vis market, and can you do some correction? That is one. The second is, can we actually reassess that, have we done an overdone of manpower? Because I think this is one thing that happens when everything is good, we keep hiring for every requirement. Now today, when we are actually suggesting them that you should have each individual should be given much more bigger role, because you can't afford to have too many number of people. Now the reorganizing of work and reassessing of the skills of employees and reassigning is happening right now, Rachna. Because of that, there's going to be certain reduction of employees. The third most important is, now that we have overlooked all the non-performers for so long, but I think today there's going to be an axe on the non-performance for sure. So they're going to really look at that, how are the non-performance employees who all are there, and really looking at, whether they can shape up or ship out. I think that's going to be the impact that's happening right now.
Yeah, thanks. Yes.
GR, I have another very interesting question. Since the academic year is just finished for the budding engineers, MBAs, all kind of professionals, and normally this is the time when they go for their new assignments post their professional qualifications. So how you look at the that market from your point of view? Means how you look at it, means like there are a lot of new breed which is just about to come into the professional shoes, right?
Yeah. So two things happening, Deepak. One, definitely the hiring of the fresh graduates is at a low right now at the moment, because I think everybody is reassessing, what is going to happen. But definitely it's going to take a bigger shape, because day before yesterday I was actually doing a session on how a senior management can look at career transition, because they're going to lose a lot of jobs, because of the cost and other implications, and that's going to come into an advantage of a newer, employees coming in, and especially the fresh graduates. Hopefully today, what's going to happen is, I think the industry, the education industry, is not yet ready to really look at and offer a service to companies, saying that, hey, you can hire them, let them work offline, maybe at a certain, cost, but at the same time, they can actually join you when things are, good. I think that focus is not happening from the education institutions. Hence, there's going to be a low at this point of a time. But however, it's going to pick up maybe after 6 months. But so what is going to happen is, at least the top institutes will be able to get through 50% of them in this pandemic time, but 50% of them will be like off-campus recruitments going forward in the future.
Very nice. And I have one last question with you, Jia. Your advice to the the people, working class, the employees, whether it is senior, mid, or low, what do you advise them as a HR consultant?
So first thing I've been saying from the day the lockdown has happened, that every employee today in the organization is a salesperson. He has to take out his role, keep it in the desk, that what his role was, description. But today you are a salesperson. The way that you do is, how do you really promote your business to the future? That's it. So I think it is only sales, sales, sales. Everybody should be focused on, even if they can't do direct sales, can they bring in leads? Can they, go and talk to the, old customers to take a feedback, and, can they, get some more business, when the pandemic gets over, future sales and etc. So I think everybody has a role to play as a salesperson, and I would really recommend that it is the time that all employees will think about business more than any time. I have at least experiencing that today people are thinking more about business. Everybody irrespective of the designation, but I think that's going to be the future, at least to survive, to help their companies to float, and they also float along with them.
I think I can continue this discussion for long, GR, but we have limitation on the time on this chat. And I think it is really very insightful for all the viewers. It will be. And friends, if you, in case you have any queries, please keep writing us. We'll forward it to GR, and let GR decide whether, personally or professionally, how he can help you guys. Thank you very much, GR, for being with us on this chat. Thanks, Rachna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachna. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
See you.
Discussion. And